Hey guys, here is the homework helper for 53B. We do have an assessment next class, so make sure you do know how to do everything in this homework, okay? So the first one is just graphing a system of inequalities. So if I look at the first line right here, I'm going to put it into slope-intercept form. I'll do that down here so you can see it. Negative 3y is less than or equal to, and all I'm doing is adding 5x to both sides, so 5x plus 9. Okay, and then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. All right, but don't forget, because I'm dividing both sides by negative 3, I need to flip the inequality symbol. So your y is actually going to be greater than or equal to negative 5/3 x minus 3. Okay, so when I graph that line, I start at my y-intercept of negative 3, and my slope is negative 5/3, so I'm going to go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then to the left 3, 1, 2, 3, to make that negative slope. Okay, I notice it's greater than or equal to, so that's going to be a solid line. Whoops, okay. And I'm going to test the point 0, 0 to see which side to shade. So there's my 0, 0. If I put in 0, 0 here for 0 for y, and then I've got 0 is greater than or equal to 0 minus 3, and that's a true statement. So that means when I do shade, I'm actually going to shade on the right side where 0, 0 is. Okay, so that's the solution set for that particular line. And now the next line is actually an example of a vertical line, because think of Vux. So it's a vertical line at x is negative 3. So here's our negative 3, and I'm going to make a vertical line, but I look at it, it's less than, so it's just going to be a dashed line. Okay, and in this particular example, it's less than, so that means it's going to be everything to the left side of the line, because negative 4 is less, negative 5, so we're going to shade this area here. So it might be hard to see here, but the solution set where both lines have a solution would be right in that little triangle. So this is the solution. And don't forget to write the solution and point to it to help us out, and try to be careful. Okay, so number 2 would be done the same way. I'm not going to do it for you. You got to practice that. Same with 3 and 4. You're just putting them both into slope-intercept form, and you're graphing. So don't forget to flip the sign if you multiply or divide by negative. Okay, number 5 is a little bit different. It's just checking to see if the point negative 1 satisfies the system. So what you need to do is plug in your x and y for both. It must be true for both. Okay, so if it's not true for either one of them, then it's going to be a no. Okay, so if I plug in the first inequality, 2 times my x is negative 1, plus my y is a negative 1, is that less than negative 3? So negative 2 minus 1, is that less than negative 3? As soon as I do that, I realize, no, negative 3 is not less than negative 3. It's less than or equal to, but it's not less than. So this would be false. So I don't even need to check the second one. Okay, but if you did get it true here, then you would check the second one. It must be true for both. So this one does not. Okay, so moving on to number 6. Number 6, we want to find the system of linear inequalities that corresponds to the graph below. Okay, honestly, this particular question, you can put the options into Desmos and see which one matches. That's one way to do it, because it is a multiple choice. But let's try to break it apart and check out the slope and the y-intercept here. So if I put if I look, I've got 5/3 x plus 3, 5/3 x plus 3. Okay, so let's look at these two different options to see what we have for C and B. When we subtract, we solve for y here, because these aren't in slope-intercept form. So I want them to be in slope-intercept form so that when we find the two lines, we can match them up. Okay, so this one would be 3y is less than or equal to 5x plus 9, and this would be y is less than or equal to 5/3 x plus 3. Okay, so that's also 5/3 x plus 3. And then when I do this one, I've got 3y is greater than or equal to 5x plus 9, so that when I divide by 3, I get y is greater than or equal to 5/3 x. Okay, plus 3. Okay, so they're all 5/3 x plus 3, which must be this corresponding line right here, because there's your y-intercept of 3. Okay, and so your b is 3 and your slope is 5/3. Okay, so in this case, 0, 0 is true, because we're shading, this is the overlapping region, so 0, 0 must be true for this inequality. So if we put in this, we've got y, and then we've got the slope 5/3 x, and then we have plus 3, and we put in 0, 0, we've got 0 and 3 must be true. 0 is actually going to be less than. Okay, so it's going to be less than, and because it's a straight line, it's less than or equal to. So it would be, looks like it would be this one right here. Okay, so 5/3, this would be 5/3 x plus 3. That's less than or equal to. It can't be these two because they're just less than. They don't have the equal to sign. So it looks like the answer is C. But let's check it out and make sure with the other equation, our y-intercept is -3. Our slope is a -1/3. And it's just a dashed line, and it would be greater than, so it would be true. 0, 0. So is 0 greater than -3? That is true. Okay, so it would be C. Okay, so for number 7, to determine if the following order pairs, which of the order pairs satisfies the systems of inequalities. So what you need to do here is plug in every ordered pair, and each ordered pair needs to be true for both. Okay, so the first one, we take 4 times y is 3 plus 8, is that less than or equal to -10 times -2? Okay, so this would be 12 plus 8 is less than or equal to 20. Yep, 20 is less than or equal to 20. So that one would be true for the first one. Okay. And then the second one, we would plug it in. Okay, we've got -2, 3. Now we're going to plug it in here. So for the second one, 1/2, okay, times our x is -2 plus our y is 3. Is that less than 2? Okay, this would be -1 plus 3. Is that less than 2? Is 2 less than 2? That would be a false statement, okay, because it's not less than it, it's equal to. So therefore, as soon as we get a false, we know it's not going to be A. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing for B, C, D, and E. You're actually going to have a few different answers that satisfy it. So go through each one of those and figure out if they satisfy the system of inequalities. Okay, so now the review section. Okay, so these are 3 SOL type questions that you're going to have on your separate assessment. It's going to be worth 6 mastery points, 2 points each. Okay, Sam is looking for repair service for general household maintenance. One service charges a $100 flat fee to come to the house and $20 per hour. Another service charges $50 per hour. After how many hours of service is the total cost for the 2 services the same? Okay, so our let statement is we're looking for the number of hours. Okay, and it says one service charges a flat fee of $100 and $20 per hour. The other service charges $50 per hour. Okay, you're looking for the 2 to be the same. Okay, so you just set the 2 expressions equal to each other, and then you solve for H. There's just one variable there, so it's not a system of equations. It's just solving for H. Okay, so for number 2, solve for B. So this is a literal equation. To get rid of our fraction, we started off and multiplied both sides by 2. Okay, and then to get B by itself, all we had to do was divide by H. Okay, so B is equal to 2A divided by H. Okay, now the third one, we're solving for X, so we're set up, okay, so we can do cross products right here to solve for X. So we're going to say take the numerator of 1, -2, times X plus 4, and don't forget to put this in parentheses, okay, it's going to be then equal to -4 times X plus 3. Okay, all we do here is distribute, okay, on both sides. All right, and then you solve for X. Okay, so you'll add 4X to both sides. I'm not going to do it all for you. Okay, so just get your X. So that's how we do the 3 review problems. Okay, hope this helped.